Hello, darlings, and welcome to CareOffBook. I'm Care Darling, and today, darlings, I finally saw Once Upon a Mattress starring Sutton Foster. Now, if you've been following this channel, you know that Once Upon a Mattress, the revival, happened in LA, went to Broadway, and then it came back. And as a Christmas gift, I got tickets to go see the show New Year's Eve. What a way to end the year. I wish I could do that every year. Like, if you're ever wondering, like, what should I do? Like, see if there's a musical that happens. Like, I like the fact it started at 6:30, so there was enough time to finish, head home, Happy New Year, go to sleep. Fantastic. Also, I just want to say, I talked to Cynthia Erivo at the show. So that story at the end of this review and everything. But let's talk. So yeah, finally saw Once Upon a Mattress starring Sutton Foster, and girl, do I have thoughts. If you're a fan of slapstick comedy and that classic Lucille Ball style humor, then I think you'll have a blast with this show. In case you're not familiar, it's the story of Princess and the Pea. You know, the one where the queen tests a princess's sensitivity by placing a pea under 20 mattresses to see if she's true royal. If she feels it, she can marry the prince. But in Once Upon a Mattress, things are a little less elegant. Enter Princess Winifred, straight from the swamps, hardly your typical fairy tale heroine. The prince, a sheltered mama's boy. The queen, she's got major boy mom energy. The king, mute due to a curse. And don't even get me started about the side characters. I will say one of them, to me, stole the show, and I can't wait to talk about him. Like I said, if you've been following me, you know my big questions going into this were, can Sutton Foster really sing this role? Is she funny? And would Carol Burnett, the OG Winifred, be proud?
That's a beautiful bed! Look at all the nice, soft, downy mattresses!
Well, I'm thrilled to report that Carol Burnett has already said Sutton is the perfect Fred, and I wholeheartedly agree. Sutton has phenomenal comedic chops, but while I enjoyed her performance, I do have a few notes. The show leans heavily on comedy so much that I felt it sometimes took away from the heart of Winifred's character. For instance, Michael Urie, who played the prince, struck a great balance between humor and growth. His comedic moments, like there was this whole thing about him not being able to go up the stairs properly because the mother has been sheltering him for so long, that when he kisses Winifred on the cheek and then he has the courage to walk up the steps. It's like, that was a great example of something that, yes, was a comedy bit, but it had a great payoff as far as seeing the prince's growth. And that's what I wanted more for Winifred. Anna Gasteyer played the queen, and I mean, she brought her comedic take on it, and I mean, she was on SNL, right?
Wow, Pete, I have to say your balls are so tender.
Well, there's no beating my balls.
But I will say that her playing the queen, it did get to a point for me where I'm like, all she's doing is really yelling the whole time. And I wish there were more layers to her character. Like, because you scream the whole time, it takes its bite away from, you know, those comedic points. So yeah, I just wish there were more layers and more levels to that character. Okay, back to Sutton. I felt her singing was strong, but for Happily Ever After, I wanted her to strip back some of the pingy character voice.
And thoroughly satisfied,
This song is where Winifred's stakes are sky high. It's comedic, yes, but it's also a rare chance to show the princess's vulnerability. I think Sutton could have leaned into that moment a bit more, letting the heart of the song shine instead of playing it fully for laughs. I feel like I'm saying the same comment over and over, but okay, so there's a scene that happens where Winifred is by herself in her room, and then she sees grapes. And so what happens is she keeps shoving her mouth full of grapes, and it looks funny, and there's like juices coming out of her mouth and things like that. But for me, I love situational humor, but what I was noticing in this musical was that they were putting in comedy bits, but there was no situation of why this was happening. So for example, Lucille Ball, it was giving me the same vibes as the chocolate conveyor, but the thing is that it's funny because there's a situation to it. Like Lucy didn't just go up with Ethel and start like eating this chocolate out of nowhere. The situation was she had a job and she was told that if any of the chocolates went through and weren't wrapped, she would be fired. So as the conveyor belt is going faster, she has to like hide it in her outfit. She's putting it in her mouth because the lady's coming. So there's a motive to why she's doing something so chaotic. Now, when the grapes thing happened, I found myself like I was sitting there and I was thinking to myself, like, I know this is funny, but I'm not laughing. And I think what would have helped is understanding why Winifred decided to eat all these grapes all at once. And I feel like the easy thing is to say like she never had grapes before, and so this is why she's doing this. But I wish there was more of a motive to understand that. It felt lazy. I know, like, that's just what I mean, where I'm like, they were really playing into the comedy so hard that it was kind of ignoring who they are as people and characters. Now, my absolute favorite performance, Daniel Breaker as the jester. He struck the perfect balance of humor and heart. And when he did Daddy's Soft Shoes, okay, I'm not going to lie, that song to me, skippable, boring. But tell me why I started crying. Okay, I think it's because I'm pregnant and stuff, but I was shocked. I started crying because I think there was something so beautiful about him. Okay, so in the song, he's reminiscing about his father, who passed, and his father was like a dancer. And so it was him remembering his dad at a young age being such a great performer. And the way that they choreographed it was the dad comes out in like his suit, and then it's like his grown-up son dancing. I could cry right now. It's not even funny. I think it's because I'm pregnant and I'm like, oh, I just want my daughter to be proud of me. Like, I just lost it at that song. Fun fact, and I'm so mad at myself that I didn't realize this, but Daniel also played Donkey in Shrek the Musical. So this was a mini reunion for him and Sutton, and I love that. Overall, I had a great time watching the show. I was entertained. Yes, I have my notes, but I liked it. I actually did. If you saw it, I would love to know your thoughts. And okay, something that I'm excited to share, Cynthia Erivo. Here we go. This is not a long story because it was a short experience, but it is something I'm going to cherish and whatnot. So, show ends, curtain call, standing ovation, yay. The house lights go up, and I'm looking back because, it was a family affair. Like, the family was there, and I was trying to see, where they were. And when I looked, I saw someone, with a hat on, and I was like, wait a minute. And I looked, and yeah, it was Cynthia Erivo with her partner. And I was just like, wait a minute. And she looks at me. And so we made eye contact. And I did that SpongeBob smile where I went, like, and then her face at me was like, almost like where it's like, you found me. kind of thing. And so we start, like everyone's kind of doing the waddling out, like exiting the theater, and she's right there. And I'm absolutely like, I was so happy that I could melt. And I was just like, I gotta say something, right? So then I lean over and I go, well done. And she goes, Thank you. And then that was it. That was it. Because listen, to me, I'm like, you're brave, Cynthia. The fact that you're in a theater with theater kids, like she could get swarmed. And so, no, I wasn't, listen, the reality is, like, would I have loved to like take a picture with her? Heck yeah. Listen, I wanted her to bless my baby, okay? Because my child is going to grow up knowing her as Elphaba and Wicked, while I loved that I got to grow up knowing Idina was Elphaba. So to me, this was like a big deal, right? My aunt was behind me and I didn't even turn around to tell her, like, yo, Cynthia's right there, right? So it really was something to myself. And I guess in a way, I just wanted her to be protected and okay to like, be able to like go in and enjoy a show and not make a scene and head on out. So yeah, it is what it is. And when I told my husband about the, experience, he was like, if you don't have a picture, it didn't happen. And I was like, I don't need a picture because I know it happened. And it was like, then it turned into a thing with my family where it's like, yeah, but like, are you sure it was her? Maybe you were making it all in your head. And I was like, no, I know it was her. And then something hit me. I was like, wait a minute. I was taking selfies like with the program because I was so excited to see Once Upon a Mattress. And I was like, nah, there's no way. And then I look and here's the photo. And I was like, boom, see, like whatever, you know what? Like, if there's something special that happened and people are like, oh, you need proof and whatever, you know what? Who cares about them? I don't even care if they're husbands and family. The point is that you know the truth. And the thing is that this is going to sound so bad, but I'm not special. But in that moment, I felt special. And the thing is Cynthia thinking about me? No. But am I thinking about her in that moment? Yes, because it meant a lot to me. And if you saw my video about my expectations on myself within 2025, I was like, I want to be the leading lady in my life and enjoy it to the fullest. And then once I made that decision in my head, it's like I just saw the main leading lady of 2024. And it's going to happen again in 2025 in November as far as Wicked Part 2. I know I said this was a short story. It wasn't really that short, sorry. But anyways, love to know your thoughts about Once Upon a Mattress. I just love that musical so much. And Sutton Foster, funny enough, I'm moving to Delaware and Sutton Foster will be performing out in Delaware. So in a way, I feel like her and I are just connected in a way that's just like I don't know, meant to be in a cool, not creepy way, I promise. Anyways, darlings, if you love talking about musicals and like different performances and who knows what I'm talking about at times, don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video, okay? Take care, darling.